my next car.
I did one thing for me. Go put your left foot on the right T mark. Like go just over a little bit. That's it. No, that way. The way you were. Yeah, that's like. That's even a bit better. I think I like that better. Yeah, that's nice. Very nice. Okay.
My badge is looking good, don't they?
Very official. Yeah, very nice.
Great. We shall look with.
He and his buddies had a winter coat made for a little Dutch girl who was often with them while they were waiting for further movements into Germany. Susie, the Dutch girl, didn't have a winter coat, so they made one for her. Can you imagine? In the middle of war. So this Canadian soldier and all his fellow veterans didn't just do their job, they did much and much more than that.
It was made by a seamstress out of an old, actually it was a brand new blanket at the time in the Netherlands during 1944, just before Christmas, for a little Dutch girl, and it was made out of an army blanket, a Canadian army blanket. And each of the soldiers that gave it to her donated a button from their tunics, and those are the buttons that are on it.
So why was that done?
The Dutch people were in such a terrible state after 5 years of Nazi occupation. And Susie had, was the little girl that wore the coat, she had endeared herself to the soldiers by coming down to the tanks and singing songs for them, and she became like a mascot to them.
Veterans reception in the War Museum in an hour or so, and it's great that you can be our guest. But now I would like to talk with you about the story of the little coat, which we can see right now. Could you please tell us a little bit about this small little coat?
But they had to, when they escaped, they went to Elfen, which is not that far away.
So this is in the winter of 44, Christmas 44?
What was known as the Starvation Winter. That's where I saw it. My wife and I were playing a duet there, and one evening I was looking around the memorabilia and I noticed this little coat, and I started asking questions about it. The more I found out, the more intriguing it became. So it was just a natural progression to follow the story until I found out all of it. And it was amazing. This one shows the compassion that the Canadian soldiers had for the Dutch people in their hour of need. They didn't just liberate the country. They fed the people, they helped clothe them. Even after the war was over, Bob was sent back as a quartermaster sergeant in charge of the stores. And he would look at all that food and think, we can't eat all that. So he'd load up a truck and take it into Amsterdam and give it all away.
She was so little, wasn't she? 10 years old. You'd swear she was 6 by looking at that. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was going to move it right. I'll move it right over.
Because it was a blanket, right?
That's right. It was a blanket.
So,
A seamstress made it. They did find a seamstress that could make it.
okay.
But, and she didn't even measure the girl. That's what amazed Bob, and it fitted her perfectly. She just knew who she was, I guess. When she was walking along the road, heading back to where the little farmhouse that they were staying in, her mother was looking out the window, and she, of course, there wasn't just the coat. They'd given her a pair of pants and a scarf and socks and shoes and the whole. She got a whole ensemble.
Oh.
Some of the guys had gone to Paris on leave, and they had sent some money with them. All the guys had tossed in some money, and they brought back these shoes and things. Well, she was walking along there dressed in all these new clothes, and her mother was looking out the window and thought, that little girl looks so beautiful in those clothes. I wish I could do that for my girl.
Yeah.
You know. Have you read the book yet?
But I'm going to.
The ending to me is so dramatic that I wanted Bob and Sue to actually play that themselves when there's a movie made, because this is 2005 that this happened. And when I was writing this paragraph, because I'd been looking for an ending, two of the hardest things to do when you're writing a book is the beginning
To see this
and the end.
in such a beautiful setting, and the way that the War Museum has presented it, I know that Susie would be overwhelmed with joy at seeing this.
I remember when I was growing up, you know, it was still, it was just, you know, where I came from was still very, you know, very white community, you know. And I remember we had one guy in our class who was from Indonesia, and he still, you know, his color was a little bit darker than ours, and it was noticeable at the time. But now, you know, because it's become much more multi-ethnic for our children, I think you know, it's become much more natural, which is of course a very positive thing. And for them, yeah, they don't even think about it anymore.
And I'm very pleased that Alan Buick, who wrote down this true story, is with us today, over there. And the little coat itself is real and was donated to this museum. It's on display in the central foyer behind this hall. And you can have a look at it later on. And the book is available at the gift shop.
Oh, pleased to meet you. I think I missed you when you came by.
Yeah, Dina contacted you about signing some books for you to sell tonight.
Yes, she
I'll
did.
do that right now before Mark comes in, because I don't want to.
Haven't you
I don't want
already?
to. Pardon?
The little coat?
Yes, the little coat.
Thousands of school children tend to the graves of soldiers at Canadian war cemeteries. I saw some footage of that before we got started on the screen. This Canadian soldier and all his fellow veterans didn't just do their job, they did much and much more than that.